Today's question from one of our audience says this: who was God speaking to when he said, "Let us make man"? Welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to have you once again on this program, which is now your program. Pastor, I have a question. Today's question from one of our audience says this: who was God speaking to when he said, "Let us make man"? To who he was speaking to? Did he have an audience? Did he have a group of people or somebody around him to whom he was addressing this word? That's what we're going to answer today. And we know that it's a scriptural question. The Bible may give us some more clarity. This is right in the book of Genesis, in the beginning when God is creating. And he's saying, "Let us make man," to whom God was speaking to. What was the audience? Who was around him? We can have more clarity down in the Bible when we get to the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 4. You see God coming down and speaking to Job and say, "Where was thou when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding." So God wanted to know if Job had an understanding of the things that happened when creation was happening. Now he comes down to verse 7 and bring more clarity to what he's trying to say and say, "When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy." It means when God was creating, there was an audience, there was some beings there, there was a certain kind of congregation that was shouting of joy, looking at God laying the foundation of the earth. So it means there was people, it means there was some beings there that could see God creating, and they were appreciating, they were supporting the work of God of creation. And this is the audience of God, and that becomes more clear again if we can go down into the book of Ephesus. You know, when Paul speaks to the Ephesians in the first chapter and verse 4, say, "According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world." So God has chosen us. The us come back again. He has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world. It means at that time, sons of God were already there, and God has made some choices, and God has made some selection, and God had an audience right before the foundation of the world. But just that we need to understand how that audience was represented before God and around God. We will see more clarity again if we go in the book of Hebrews. You will see there in the first chapter and verse 8, you see the Bible say, "But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever, and the scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom." This is God speaking there. And you see verse 9, "Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore God, even thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellow." God speaking to the Son and saying that he has been anointed above his fellows. So the Son of God has got fellows that he was anointed above them. "And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thine hands." So there was there God making himself in a form that he took for the creation, and as he had in that shape, in that form, there are other sons, so that between these sons, among these sons, there is one son that has been given a position above his fellows, and we know the son is the Lord Jesus Christ. I believe that it's bringing unto us to understand and to notice that God, as he was creating, his sons were already there. They were already with him. Like you are a human being, you cannot be a son of your father unless you have been in him in a form of a germ. And we also, as sons of God, we were in him, we were in his mind, and as we were his attribute, we were already being in the process of being expressed. But before you come here, before we come here in the flesh, we have already existed. And as we were there, we saw God in his work of creation, and being his son, being part of that audience, that should make you and I so happy that we are part of the audience that was with God in the time of the creation, the sons of God. Coming back to our question, who was there to whom God was speaking? He was speaking to his audience. He was speaking to his sons. He was speaking to his attributes. He was speaking to his thoughts. They were there before the foundation of the world. They were there with God while he was creating. And those sons, it is you and it is me, the audience of God. It's just by you coming here on earth, you have forgotten where you were, what you were before you come here. That's the reason why coming down to Job, he was trying to make him remember. He was trying to remind him his real place, his real position, though he was in trouble, to know that his real place, he has got an origin. He was with God when he was creating, and the power that is with God, he must be aware of that power. That's why he came to say that I know now that my Redeemer liveth. That's why he came to say that I have heard, but now my eyes have seen. So he came to that understanding. As you and I, our power as sons of God is to come to that understanding that we have been there before even the foundation of the world. We have been the audience of God, and God has spoken to us for the work of the creation, and we are able again to be associated with God in the works of his creation. May God bless you. If this has helped you, do not forget to follow us to hear more about this. Shalom. Till we meet again.